Hi, is chipping a part of the game that you really enjoy, or is it a part of the game that you fear? If it's the latter, I think I've got a simple solution for you. If you could make a putting stroke, I believe I can help you chip the golf ball very, very simply. I've got a pitching wedge here. I'm actually going to set up just like I would do for putting. So I'm going to make my putting grip. That's the way that I quite like to hold it. It's what's called a reverse overlap, but it doesn't matter how you hold the putter. My feet are relatively close together. I'm going to stand nice and tall. Don't want to get too low. Again, a lot of people who start to fear chipping go right down the grip, and that makes it harder. So let's use the length of the golf club first. I'm literally just going to chip this just onto the edge of the green. There is a pin that's a bit further back, but I just want to show you how easy it is to lift this up onto the green. So I'm going to make my normal putting setup, my normal putting grip, and I'm going to make a putting stroke. And all we've done there is allowed the loft of the golf club to lift the ball in the air. I'm not trying to lift it, as you see a lot of people doing it. Very neutral at setup, so I'm not shoving my hands way forward again. The issue with that is you start to de-loft the golf club, and if we've got less loft on it, we'll try and put it on one way or another, probably using the wrists a little bit more or leaning back to try and put loft back on. You don't need to do that. Let's keep the shaft nice and level, and all we're doing is making a putting stroke, and that's just lifting the golf ball onto the green really, really easily. Now let's say we have to hit the ball a little bit further, so the pin could be in the middle of the green. What you can then do is change the loft of your golf club. So I've now gone to a 7-iron, which has got a little bit less loft, which will send the ball a bit further. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing. Nice putting setup, putting grip, make a putting stroke. And now the ball's gone to the middle of the green. I know you can't quite see from there, but it's just landed into the middle. And let's say you've got a really long green and the pin's right at the back. I've got the rescue club, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing again. So I'm making my putting setup, my putting grip, putting stroke, and now the ball's run right to the back of the green. So if you're struggling with your chipping, don't try to make it too fancy. If you can make a putting stroke, I've got a pitching wedge here. If you can make a putting stroke, there's no reason at all why you can't chip if we use the loft on the club correctly. Let's hope this little bit of advice helps you, and as always, if I can be of any help, message me or have a look on my website, julianmillergolfschool.com. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and there's got to be more videos coming out that you should find helpful. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Guys, Jed Walters here. Answer a question from subscriber Mike Davey regarding the One Plane Swing series and trying to collaborate that into the pitching side of things. I wouldn't say that there was a one plane pitching technique per se, but what I would say for you, Mike, is if you were to get the feeling that the golf club and the torso and the arms all move together as one unit in both directions. So taking your setup position, I always like to get a little bit more pressure in this lead foot here, just to make sure that our angle of attack is just gently downward, just so we've got a nice crisp and ball turf and strike. But we want to feel like torso, hands, club, arms are all moving as one piece. So you want to really initiate it then with the body. If I said for you to get a feeling that you turned the torso behind you a little bit and then turned it back through a little bit, and then just let the hands and the arms and the club just follow that motion really, and then the length of your movement will start to control your distance when you're hitting it a little bit further. So maybe you want to pitch it out 50, 60, 70 yards, there's always going to be then a little bit more of a full swing feeling, a little bit more of a wrist set going through there as well. So just practice hitting some shots, ball centrally in your stance, feel a bit of pressure on this lead side, and just try and feel the torso dominates it and the arms and the club go together, so you've got everything moving as one unit. So we're going a little bit of a turn back, turn through, and just pitching it forward. And then varying the loft on the club. I've got my 54-degree wedge here, but just varying the loft from, you know, you could do a 9-9, you could go into right up into your lob wedge, your most lofted clubs. So just getting that same feeling. So turn the torso, turn it back through, and just let it pitch forward, and just get used to that feeling. You could, you know, start maybe getting used to little shorter moves and just pump it forward, and then get used to the feeling of how far you're going to feel like you turn to how far you're then going to pitch the golf ball. So when we look at it from our down the target line view, we can see that if I make a smaller turn, club's not traveling as far, so I'll probably pitch it into this little bunker that's in front of us here. So in that one there, just pitched it into the face. And then if I make a bigger turn, so if I make myself turn back, facing the camera angle there, turning back through, club's going to travel a little bit further, and then we're going to pitch it out further, you'll see, onto the driving range. So we see difference in height, difference in the flight and the control from that point of view there. But I would say don't worry about thinking too much one plane, but just get almost one movement from the body, the arms and the club themselves, making sure you've got a fraction of pressure on that lead leg just to give yourself a really nice angle of attack. Thanks for the question, Mike. Really appreciate that. Guys, as always, any questions, post them in the comments box below. Love to hear what you guys have got to say. Like the video, give it a thumbs up, share it around, subscribe to the channel, plenty of free content there, lots more free content to come in, lots of exciting things happening as well over the coming sort of 3, 4, 5 months this year as well, so stay tuned for all that to unfold on YouTube. Guys, thanks for watching as always, look forward to seeing you again next time.
I should say, hey Revolution golfers, Martin Tuck here, and I've got some awesome guys in for the golf school. We're doing some short game stuff today, and we're going to talk about the business end here. Okay, how to move the business end to play some good golf. I see a lot of guys get in this pitch shot condition and they turn into robots and they don't really get the business end going, okay? So we're gonna learn about the business end. And this goes back, and it dates back to my mentor, George Knudsen, who used to make us stand here with the club off the ground, with a narrow base, with flary feet, and he wouldn't let us have a backswing, guys, until we learned how to do this. Now notice, where'd my hands go? Did they chase down the target line, or did they work? They work around me to my left, don't they? Okay, well he made us do it. We took a shoelace and we put the shoelace in our left hand and we pulled it behind our belt by our left hip bone here, our lead hip bone, and they made this rotation and mild relocation, okay? So the behavior, the hands work, you know, we'll see how we do here. First shot, a little bit of a pick a speed, you know, so again, in these elements, you got to pick a speed, pace a speed, and face a speed. Whatever speed it is, and I'll probably land this by the fringe and then let it bobble on the green and see how we do here. Pick a speed, pace, and face. So here's the Sammy. We're going to put the Sammy in our left hip bone, and we're going to put it, you guys are going to learn how to use the business end of this device, okay? Where the inside, the grip of the golf club travels on a much smaller circle than the club head. Okay, you can see that there's the business end. This is the end where we have the weight, but we also have to get the body in concert with how we unwind and face the target, okay? My head's not going to stay down for a week on these shots. Narrow little stance, guys. I've got the weight of the club in my hands. I'm going to pick a speed. I'm going to pace and I'm going to face that speed. So does this, fellas, does this make sense for this little shot? Watch. Okay, why?
It'd be over on
yeah, naturally it's 9 miles too far, right? Yeah. So you guys are clever enough to say, okay, what speed do I need to pace and face? And then we're going to learn how, you notice how I got the golf ball sort of forwardish in my stance? I don't have a wide stance and I'm the ball way back, do I? No. Because I want to use the golf club, I want to use the sole, I want to use the bounce. I want to get the shaft pretty vertical relative to the golf ball, and then I'm going to pick that speed, pace and face that, That's more like it. I can make that one, right? So, guys, the lesson here is narrow stance, weight bias a little bit toward that lead side. We are going to let that club head move. Feel the weight of that club head, guys. As that gets back in front of me, we're going to pace and face that and see the dimension, how the butt of the club and the hip bone kind of work in relationship together. That's what we're working for, okay? Rather than something where we're trying to chase our arms way down the line, okay? Our body went from forward flex to rotation and extension. The club travels back up and in using the weight, feeling the weight in our hands, and how we can have the rhythm of that to pace and face that. And with any luck, the club is going to exchange with the ground nicely. The ball will react off the loft and away it'll go. Okay, any questions, guys? Feel good about it? Okay, so Revolution golfers, post your questions and comments down below. And don't forget, narrow stance with these. Pick a speed, pace and face that speed, and you're going to find yourself on that lead heel, engaging the ground nicely with the ball coming off the club face really well. So thanks for watching. Post those questions. I'll get to as many as I can.